Another morning on our road trip.
Starting route to Salton Sea.
And we're on the go. A 3-hour drive southeast to a remote stretch of California's parched Sonoran Desert. We're off the I-5 in the southeastern wedge of the state. It's 102 degrees and the mercury probably hasn't yet settled. We're heading towards the Salton Sea, which is actually the largest lake in the state of California, and it's drying up. The fallout from that could be disastrous. Approach the lake from a distance, and it's deceptively beautiful. Postcard perfect, but not up close. Oh, the smell. When you get to the beach, it becomes pretty clear what that foul odor is all about. It's dead fish. Within about 10 feet of me, there are literally dozens of them. And if you took a walk along the beach, you'd see hundreds, if not tens of thousands of carcasses. It's clear that the heads are the last things to rot. And take a look at this. I mean, this looks initially like some seashells, but on closer inspection, it's a combination of pebbles, sand, and I think fish body parts. This whole place has a strange poetic beauty about it, the mountains off in the distance. But this community has clearly been abandoned, at least sections of it. This whole area that I'm standing on used to be underwater, but now this is all that's left. Today, the Salton Sea is a forgotten place. No one in sight for miles. Once there were marinas, boat slips, and prime waterfront property waiting for weekenders. Today, just desolation and an eerie silence. We head out to meet some of the people who still live around what's left of the Salton Sea. This is the oldest bar in town, the ironically named Ski Inn, owner Wendell Southwood. This was the bar and restaurant.
That was the dining room back here, that building.
Wendell and his friends will remind you the lake was once called the California Riviera, one of the state's top destinations in the 50s and 60s, back when you could catch a 3-foot Corvina.
Charter boats for fishing and water skiing and carousing. It was the Rat Pack, after all.
But residents haven't caught a Corvina or any other big fish for a very long time. The sea is shrinking. Scientists say it's an ecological time bomb. The loss of bird habitats, property values, and increased public health costs could reach as high as $70 billion over the next 30 years, according to a Pacific Institute report. They call this the accidental sea, formed in 1905 when the Colorado River breached a dike and spent the next 2 years flooding into the low-lying Salton Sink. Rainfall and salty runoff from farms kept the lake filled. But water levels have dropped since the drought. And as part of a legal agreement, since 2003, the local water authority has been transferring some of that farm water to San Diego County. The Salton Sea is a victim of California's messy water wars. The bottom line is San Diego and some of the coastal cities, as a result of the drought, needed more water. And they got their water from the district up here.
That's true. And they pay for that water. They pay for the water conservation measures.
Governor Jerry Brown recently tapped ecologist Bruce Wilcox to figure out a way to save the Salton Sea. A major concern, all this toxic dust being increasingly exposed on the lake bed as the water recedes.
This is an agricultural area. Most of the runoff has some level of pesticides and fertilizers in it. It's not a large amount, but over time, as it settles into the bottom of the lake, the old lake bed, as it picks up in the dust, all of those minerals and all of that contaminants go into the dust stream and into people's lungs.
Some experts worry the dry lake bed could generate up to 100 tons of dust per day and travel as far as Los Angeles, potentially exposing millions of people. 30 miles south in the farming town of El Centro, we meet a mother who believes the dust is making her kids sick. Hi, Dolores.
Yes.
Nice to meet you. I'm Michael. Dolores Aguilar's children, 2-year-old Alberto and 9-year-old Giselle, both have asthma. Mornings always start like this.
Everyday thing, and then when the weather change, it gets worse. Like sometimes I have to take him to the hospital. At least I take him to the hospital like 5 times a year.
Wow.
And every 4 hours I have to use the machine.
Every 4 hours?
Every 4 hours.
The officials at Alberto's school tell us more and more kids are getting asthma, and they warn the problem is worse in Calexico, a border town only 15 minutes away. Here, the school district has resorted to flying flags to signal good and bad air quality days. We see them as we drive up. Today's a good day, but nearly everyone we talk with suffers from asthma.
I did not have asthma growing up. I left the valley many years ago for my military service. I returned an adult, and I got asthma when I returned.
You have kids?
Yes, two of my 3 kids have asthma. There's a lot of asthma in the valley.
In fact, Calexico has the highest rate of people with respiratory diseases in California. They are, in a way, another kind of casualty of the drought. How did we get to this point?
By assuming that the water would never run out.
We meet up with environmental journalist Chris Clark. Just 10 years ago, the water was 3 feet deep here. He's worried about more than just the sand and the wind and the dead fish in the sea. He says as the drought continues and the days get hotter, few workers will be able to pick crops when the 120-degree days become 135. How will that impact the Imperial Valley, one of the nation's major agricultural areas?
People that come here and work in the farms, they're used to heat. They're not afraid of working hard. They're very motivated, but there is a point at which even a motivated person just can't take a certain amount of heat, and it's going to change the way we do things here.
The Salton Sea may be California's canary in a coal mine.
I'd say that the drought is the new normal for a lot of the state, and here in the Salton Sea we can see where a lot of the state might be in 70 years. Not all going to be salt pans desiccated with dead fish lying on them, but it's sort of the advance guard for the rest of California. The drought makes itself felt here first, and even the redwood forest might not be too far behind.
The notion of California being the Golden State, those days are over?
California can still be a great place to live. We just have to get used to not wasting water.